Hello and welcome to Baggies View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined on the phone now by West Bromwich Albion correspondent Chris Lipkowski. Hi Chris.
Hi.
Well, we'll start off today about the West Bromwich Albion annual awards due. You were there. Just tell us who the big winners were.
Youssouf Mulumbu was the winner, Player of the Year. He won the Players' Player of the Year, and the club's Player of the Year was voted for by fans during the season. Peach Ogden Wingy claimed the top goal scorers prize, which was probably the one we were expecting most, seeing as he scored 15 goals. James Hurst got Young Player of the Year, and Simon Cox won Goal of the Season. Do a few other mentions. Arsenal away got Performance of the Year. So it was a good night, definitely. One very much enjoyed by the fans and the players who attended.
And is there anyone you think that missed out on the awards, or does everyone who deserves something kind of got the mention that they needed?
I think so. I think they pretty much covered it. I mean, Jonas Olsen was probably one who maybe deserved some recognition this season, but there are only so many awards he can dish out, I guess, at these award series. But it was good really to hear the chairman praising not only Roy Hodgson and the players, but also predecessor Roberto Di Matteo, which is something that Hodgson himself alluded to in his speech afterwards. And I think the most interesting revelation to come out of it, if you like, is that Albion intend to increase the capacity of our stadium over the next 3 years, which should take it to in excess of 30,000.
Yeah, you mentioned that there, and there's been a fair amount of talk about that over the last couple of days. How much do we know at this point of how that extra capacity is going to be made?
Well, one of the problems they've got, of course, is the actual West Stand, or Halfords Lane as it's still known, runs alongside the Halfords Lane itself. So they would have to effectively build over it. They've acquired most of the land there. They've already got the Hawthorns pub, which was always earmarked for demolition at some stage, although there are issues over this status in certain respects of that building. That's the only avenue available to them, really, if they want to extend that West Stand, which is what the plan is. Whether it'll involve a decrease in capacity in the meantime, I think it remains to be seen how they actually go about building it. If they add to tier on top, then hopefully the disruption in that respect will be minimal. But it's something they're planning over the course of the next 3 years. It won't be happening this summer. So it's a case of wait and see to find out what the club's actual plans are for that whole process.
But I suppose it's a good sign and shows the ambitions of the club and wanting them to move up and keep that Premiership status and turn into a big Premier League side.
Well, of course, I mean, one of the issues you've got with any club in the Premier League is being able to sustain a high wage budget, and West Brom have one of the smallest stadia in the Premier League, and they took the unusual step, if you like, a couple of years ago, of reducing the capacity for safety reasons, and they opted against rebuilding the Halfords Lane stand then, and it was interesting that Jeremy P should describe it as potential insanity or financial insanity to actually be redeveloping it again now. But that's the situation Albion find themselves in. If they want to compete with bigger and better clubs, certainly financially better clubs, then they've got to do this. And it might mean a hit now, but it's something that should hopefully reap the rewards in the future.
Okay, and just one last point. You spoke to Paul Sharner this week and found out a few interesting bits of information. Just tell us what you know and when we can find out those bits of information.
Well, Paul Sharner's an interesting character, as I'm sure most Albion fans are aware by now. He speaks to supporters on Facebook on a regular basis, and he's very interactive in that respect. He invited the media again to a Birmingham hotel earlier this week for what he describes as a meet and greet, where he brings out a few Austrian delicacies and drinks to entertain us with. And I had a sit down with him of about half an hour just to get his take on the Albion dressing room and his teammates. And there were some interesting observations, such as the player that's nicknamed the German, and the other player who apparently talks so much he's been described as a woman in the dressing room. And there are a few things that will certainly raise eyebrows when Albion fans get round to reading it later this week.
Okay, great stuff. Well, we'll definitely let Albion fans know when that's going in the paper later this week. Chris, thanks for that today.
Thank you.
And,
all the best.
And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back again next week with more Baggies View.